I will show you and explain clearly how United States of American naval forces destroys or sinks a ship. In this case, how they sunk the Iranian ship at the Indian Ocean. But be patient. In this section, we shall be looking at few trending topics. Number one, many are saying, why won't China or why can't China come and help Iran? Because as a matter of fact, Iran is one of Chinese government, biggest ally in the developing countries of today, as well as Venezuela. And some are equally saying that the more this war escalates, that there is probability that China will step in to help their ally, which is Iran. But my answer to that is a no. China is never going to come into this war because they themselves also understand the implication, even though that strategically China is going to be one of the biggest losers from this war going on in Iran, as well as what is going on in Venezuela today. Because strategically, the president of the United States of America has just, shifted the equation such that China will lose a lot. I will talk about that so that we will understand in clarity the consequences of this war to China. But first of all, let's talk about the Iranian, warship that was sunk by the United States of American, naval fleet. According to the publication that was made public by the U.S. Central Command, they have succeeded in sinking 20 Iranian, warships, including their submarines and all of that. And one of the things that caught my attention was the Iranian, warship that was sunk at Indian Ocean. I was simply marveled by the technology behind the warhead or the weapon that was used in sinking that ship. You know what I mean? Even though what has happened so far is millions of dollars has just been wasted. You know what I mean? But the interesting thing here is that the United States of American Navy uses a weapon that is called Mk-48 Advanced Capability Torpedo. This dangerous weapon we are talking about here is about 650 pounds, payload explosive warhead. That is what it contains. The explosive warhead, has a weight of 650 pounds, which is about 295 to 297 kilogram. You can imagine the weight. So whenever this very bomb or this warhead is deployed, is going to meet the target with this total weight of 650 pounds, equivalent of 297 or 295 kilogram. So the science behind that is that this very Mk-48 Advanced Capability Torpedo can travel up to 25 nautical miles at a speed of about maybe 63 to 65, miles per hour. And it can penetrate into the depth of the ocean up to about 1,200 feet. Now, what happens? The moment this warhead is deployed, it travels, and on getting to the ship, it does not strike the ship by the side or from the top. This very torpedo, first of all, goes underneath the ship. And when it gets underneath the ship, then it explodes. The warhead explodes, containing this very heavy weight of 650 pounds. So when it explodes underneath the ship, what it does is that it creates very massive, bubble, gas bubble, explosive bubbles. These explosive bubbles now lift the ship up. While lifting the ship up, and then knock the ship down again, bring the ship down. And the moment it lands the ship down, it breaks the keel. That the keel is the structural material upon which the entire ship is built on. It's just like a foundation, where you're building a house, you have to first of all make a foundation before loading the blocks. So the keel is the foundation of the ship where the entire other structures are built upon. So it now breaks the back of the vessel or the ship, and then other catastrophic activities and actions, consequences will now begin to sink the ship. This Mk-48 Advanced Capability Torpedo uses a sonar technology. This sonar system is a type of technology that uses, sound waves to actually track and detect their target. You know what I mean? Through water pulses and echoes from the sea, from the ocean, they will be able to detect and then catch up with their target before launching the explosive warhead, and then other action and other events begins to take place. So it is very interesting to see that video and also to understand the technology behind this United States of American MK48 advanced capability torpedo. Man, science and technology rules the world. You know what I mean? However, this very warhead we are talking about also cost a lot of money. According to today's estimation by experts, it cost about $4.2 to about $4.5 million. So it's equally a lot of money. So by the virtue of the fact that United States of American Navy had launched that very torpedo to sink the Iranian warship at the Indian Ocean, it means that about $5 million is gone. You know what I mean? But they were able to actually achieve their objectives of sinking that very warship. Now let's talk about China being the biggest loser from what is going on today in Iran. Do not forget that recently the president of Venezuela was captured, Mr. Nicolas Maduro. Realignment in their oil business, started to take place, such that China will no longer buy cheap oil from this country, from Venezuela. And apart from that, China also has a lot of AI, business partnership and some other, business partnership with Venezuela, which today may no longer be as successful as China had anticipated. The same thing with Iran. Chinese biggest AI companies, the Huawei and ZTE, they have a lot of AI infrastructures in I think in Iran as well as in Venezuela, and they have contract and partnership that runs into billions of dollars. So at the end of the day, you'll find out that Iran will not be able to pay this money and revenues back to China, as well as Venezuela, because Venezuela is now on realignment with the United States of America. And China has also energy partnership with Iran. They are buying, I think about 25% of Chinese oil requirement comes from Iran, and they are buying it cheaper than what it should be. And not only that, China is not buying their oil in United States of American dollars. They are buying their oil in Chinese yuan. Now, what does that mean? If at the end of the day, United States of America prevails, even though they are saying it with clarity and certainty that United States of American soldiers and Israel will prevail at the end of the day, it means that the equation has permanently shifted. That if China now decides to buy oil from Iran or from the Middle East, they may be compelled, or certainly they will be compelled now to begin to buy oil again in dollars. The compulsion will come by the fact that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has launched attack on ship crossing the Strait of Hormuz, which is the singular narrow passage that allows this Gulf nation to ship their oil into the rest of the open sea or open ocean. So, and now Donald Trump has mandated that United States of American Navy will now be accompanying, giving escort to ships that will be transporting oil. So what that means is that USA is going to have a choke, going to have a full grasp of what is going on at the Strait of Hormuz, not just at the Strait of Hormuz, but also within the Middle East, such that if Chinese government now wants to buy oil as a result of shortage resulting from the crisis going on in Iran, they will be compelled to buy this oil in United States of American dollars, and that will continue in return to strengthen the US dollar. So China is principally going to be one of the biggest losers in this very war. Their biggest ally in the developing world has been taken away, obviously, in the last 2 months. And also another thing that will equally be a bad business for Chinese government is the fact that, their most advanced air defense system that was deployed to Iran was successfully destroyed by the United States of American, military forces. So it becomes questionable on whether their air defense system is actually sustainable, which will, the adverse effect or the multipliers effect might be that some other nations may not be at ease to patronize, their most advanced, air defense system. Many will rather decide to go for that of the United States of America, or maybe some other nations like Russia or maybe Israel. I don't know their capacity with respect to air defense system, but I do know that United States of America, as of today, has what it takes, the biggest and the most advanced capable air defense system. So, and As it is, it's a very dicey moment. China will not jump into the war. They will continue to stand by the side, just like Russia, and continue to observe things as things unfolds. So USA has successfully evacuated up to about 18,000 American citizens away from Middle East. They have safely landed in US, just like Russia had also started evacuating their citizens. So coming days, we will see how it fares. US Central Command has released statistics that they've been able to reduce Iran's drones firing or launching capability by 73% and their missiles by 86%. So meaning that success is gradually being achieved or tremendously being achieved. And we will begin to see what happens in coming days if a new way of peace, a new course of peace will be begin to surface at the end of the day, because I simply want the entire thing to come to an end. And then most importantly is that the people of Iran need to live in peace, no longer in fear. You know what I mean? We must all collectively say no to extremism and fanaticism so that the world will be a happy place for all of us. At this point, I will allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. Man, another person see him. God bless you.